Hello and welcome to my retro review of Flight of the Amazon Queen, released in 1995 for the Commodore Amiga and MS-DOS. Let's start with the intro, shall we?
Well, King, you really know how to show a girl a good time.
It was just dinner and a movie. How was I to know that he'd get upset?
Big Hugh's got a thing about guys dating his girl. There's not much we can do now, Joe.
Well, Rita, how about one for the road? Did you hear that?
Hear what?
Sparky?
You know him?
Don't just stand there, guys. We gotta get out of here before Big Hugh catches on. Too late. I'm one step ahead of you. Gentlemen, kill them!
Hey, watch where you put those hands, Buster.
Get them! And I want them dead. This time. That was close.
I gotta hand it to you, King. You certainly know how to end the night with a bang.
Shoot. I almost forgot. I have to pick up Faye Russell, the famous movie star, in less than 8 hours. Let's go, Sparky.
Will I ever see you again?
Only if you're lucky.
I'm going to start by giving some credit to the guys over on the Retro Hour podcast. They had an interview with one of the creators of Flight of the Amazon Queen on their 206th episode. Listening to it really inspired this video after weeks of procrastinating about what my first YouTube video should be. I highly recommend the podcast. I also came across a Gamer Sutra article entitled Making of Flight of the Amazon Queen, a 20th anniversary retrospective, which is full of interesting information. I'm going to put a link to both of those in the video's description. With that said, let's get started. Flight of the Amazon Queen is a point-and-click adventure by Interactive Binary Illusions. It was designed by John Parsfield and Steve Stamatiadis and created originally on a Commodore Amiga using AMOS Basic. AMOS Basic is the first programming language that I actually learned when I was a kid, and I still use it to this day with the help of an Amiga emulator. It always makes me happy to find out about a commercial game that was created using AMOS, because back in the day there was a lot of naysayers that thought AMOS was too slow to make serious commercial titles. The game was ported to MS-DOS using C. In 2004 it was released as freeware and can be played using ScumVM. Okay, I think it's safe to assume that anybody that's watching this video knows what a point and click adventure is, but just in case, I'm going to demonstrate myself in this first puzzle. So I can move around the scene by left clicking, but I can also interact with the scene by pressing one of these icons which represent verbs in the bottom here, so I can look at this chest, for example.
It could be a pirate chest full of treasure, but knowing my luck, it's probably full of linen.
So easy peasy. So what we need to do is escape this first room. So straight away I see I can pick up one of these sheets. Plot thickens. I can pick up other sheet.
I can see a room below, but it's too dangerous to jump down.
So I'm sure you've worked this out, but the objects I've just picked up are now in my inventory, and I can use one on the other to create a sheet rope. And I can then use that sheet rope on the radiator.
There, that should do the trick.
And then we can escape the first room. And that's basically it. So the idea is that you make your way through different environments, interacting with objects, solving puzzles, and then you further the story essentially. Speaking of which, let's talk about the story. The year is 1949 and you take on the role of pilot for hire Joe King. He is the owner of the Amazon Queen aeroplane and has been hired to fly his favourite actress, Faye Russell, to a film shoot. After dealing with his Dutch rival Anderson, Joe pilots the Amazon Queen towards the location of Faye's shoot. Before long, a storm causes him to crash land, stranding Joe, Faye and mechanic Sparky in the middle of the Amazon jungle. Joe goes to find help and meets trader Bob, a merchant who lives amongst the natives. Bob asks for help rescuing Princess Azora. He is convinced that she has been taken by Floda. Floda is a lederhosen company, but Bob is convinced that lederhosen is a cover for something much more sinister. More importantly for Joe, Floda has the only working phone for miles, so seems a good place to start. The plot thickens, but you'll have to see for yourselves. Expect a mad scientist, an ancient temple, and dinosaurs.
You called for me, Dr. Einstein?
Yes. I want you to witness the testing of my Dino Ray. With it, I can turn humans into dinosaur people. Watch as I demonstrate. Now to activate the machine.
Amazing! She transformed into a monster before my very eyes.
You've seen nothing yet. Observe as I activate the aggression enhancer. Soon she will be a quivering, snarling mass of dinosaur terror.
She doesn't look very menacing.
That's just a minor technical problem. I'll soon have it fixed. Unfortunately, she was my last specimen. I need more Amazon women. Then I can create a dinosaur army to take over the world.
Flight of the Amazon Queen takes inspiration from early LucasArts adventures. This can be seen not only in the game's style and humour, but also its story and features. Walking to the jungle's pinnacle, for example, will present you with a map screen where you have a bird's eye view showing the jungle's various locations. You can left click these locations to fast travel to them. A similar feature was included in the first two Monkey Island games. Although these inspirations are obvious, that's not a bad thing. The game's creators have put enough of their own style and ideas into the game to separate themselves. The reduction of the amount of verb buttons or the fact that you save the game by using the journal item in your inventory are really good examples of this. So what's the verdict? Like most point and click adventure games of the era, the puzzles are logical enough if you're willing to really stretch your definition of logical. If I had played this game back in the day, I can imagine a young me who had copious free time getting a real kick out of solving them. Unfortunately, I got older and I must confess, I googled the solution after a couple of hours of play. The temple sequence seemed particularly difficult. It's one thing to solve #logical puzzles, it's another thing to do that while getting lost in a cluster of weirdly connected locations. A younger me probably would have drawn a map, however. The graphics are impressive and easily match up or exceed the quality of other adventures released in the early to mid-90s. All in all, I would say that Flight of the Amazon Queen deserves praise for being a well-executed point-and-click adventure that learned valuable lessons from the games that came before it. If you want to try out Flight of the Amazon Queen for yourself, simply download the ScumVM application along with the game's files from scumvm.org. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.
What do you want, mortal?
I'm Joe King, pilot for hire.
You are joking. What insolence. This is no time for levity.